Hi, I'm Mr. Huber, and your students have actually never seen me, so if they want to take a look at what I look like without a mask, here I am. I'm happy to be having your sons in my class this year. I've been at Brother Rice this is my 11th year, and I love it here. It's a great place to be, to work, to learn. I love teaching. I've taught at several schools before Brother Rice as well, and I'm really happy that I've been here for a while and getting to teach geometry. It's my favorite math subject, so I hope to get some of that enthusiasm to your students. So my expectations for the class are actually here on the screen: responsible and respectful. That was actually the first question on the first quiz I gave your students this year after I talked about it for a few days, is being respectful and responsible. It's that important. As long as we're conducting ourselves, including me, respectfully and responsibly, I have no reason to think we won't have a great year in and outside of the classroom. My other expectation is just that the students are going to be here and focused, putting in that effort and using their resources. And I told the students that I know they can all do that. If they're in attendance, if they're focused and giving that effort that they have consistently and using the resources available to them, and I'm going to talk about all the resources available to them, then I've never had a student struggle who's done those things. And I know they're all possible, and I know students are very capable of being here, putting in effort, and using the resources. And again, a way for us to all have a great year together. My classroom runs a little differently. It's a flipped classroom model, so I'm going to explain that because it can be a little different. Traditionally, what you were used to when you were in school, what your students have been used to, maybe math classes prior, teacher comes in, goes to the board, lectures about some topic, whatever they go through, explain some examples, and then at the end of the class, give students some assignment to do to go home and homework, right? That's why it's called homework. Flipped classroom does that in the flipped manner. So instead of receiving instruction in class and doing problems in the assignment at home, they're going to get the instruction at home, and then they're going to come in and we're going to do the work. So how is that going to happen? Because I'm not going to be showing up to all your houses. Don't worry, I'm not going to bring my whiteboard, knock on the door, and invite myself in. Students might tell you, unless you're making bacon, I may stop by because they've already learned how much I have an affinity for bacon. But I'm not going to be coming to your house, and so I record video lessons that the students can watch. A YouTube link, similar to how you're watching this. So I provide the instruction on a video lesson. The students will watch that actively. I can't emphasize that enough. That's the biggest key to making this happen properly, is the students are actively watching the video lessons, taking notes, trying problems on their own. Again, just like they would in class. If I was lecturing in the front of class and the students daydreaming or taking a nap and not taking notes, they're not going to get the information. So they need to actively watch the video lesson, and there will be questions for them to answer on Schoology after they watch the video. If there are questions answered, they get two attempts at answering those, because it's not really a test or a quiz. It's just do you have some basic information so you can come into class prepared to at least get started on the work. And then when they come into class, we get going on the assignment. They're able to help each other out. There's a lot of smart guys in the room they're in. They can get some help from them. And from me, more importantly, I'm able to work with them the entire class period, to go around answering questions, helping them solve problems, and hopefully helping them understand the material as well as possible. That's my goal, is for them to understand the material. And really, in a classroom setting where you're providing instruction and then students are doing the work, the doing the work's the hard part, right? Listening to information, taking notes, that part is generally the part that's easier than doing the assignment. All right, and then students are at home and they're struggling and they don't know how to do a problem, and you haven't done the math in number of years, probably can't help them. They might not have a resource available to them. I'd rather have them struggle through problems in my class where I'm there to help them. So this flip model really allows me to help the students through the difficult part of what they have to do, which is practicing the work. It's really about practicing as much as possible. They want to get ready for quizzes and tests, they know to practice, and practice problems. That's how you're going to get good at the math, and use the resources and ask questions. I love students who ask a lot of good questions. That shows they're engaged, they're paying attention, okay? But they've got to come in prepared. If they're asking really the most basic thing, like they haven't paid any attention to the video and don't have even some idea of what's going on, then they're going to have a hard time with that. So actively watching the video is the best way to get started on that process, to practice problems even before they get to class. And they're going to have an idea of where they're understanding material and where maybe they aren't. All right, so after that point, when they're in class, when we're working, if there's some problems they don't get done, they may have a little bit to do outside of class, but typically their work out of class is going to be actively watching those videos and then coming into class prepared and doing the work. I am also available to students outside of class, before and after school. All right, they should know this. I say it all the time, so they can come and see me for help and get questions answered. Maybe they're watching the video and have a little trouble. Come in and see me. We can go over something and get them squared away. They come into class and they're ready to go. Or they're working on problems outside of school. They're getting ready for a quiz or test. Typically, I have more students coming on quiz and test days, so the more they can do, prepare along the way is better. If they're just trying to cram it in and get ready for that quiz or test, it's not going to work that well. And the other parts of that flipped classroom is, since we're doing the work in class, I don't collect it. So just so you understand how things get graded, and if you see things in the grade book called a homework quiz, that's how I check in on their assignments. So they can get credit for doing the assignments by, when I give a homework quiz, it'll have problems on the quiz right from their homework, and they can copy them from their notebook onto the assignments. So if homework quiz grades are low, that's showing they're not really doing the assignments completely or accurately. All right, just getting an assignment done to check it off their list really isn't effective. So that's not what I want. I want them to understand the material. Again, I'm in class to help them. I give them answer keys to every problem that will be assigned so they can know if they're doing things properly and correctly. Again, I want them to know, am I understanding this? And if not, let's use the resources. There's lots of resources available. I post many of them on Schoology. Okay, I'm the resource primary, but outside of me, I'm gonna post things on Schoology along with the video lessons. I post the notes from the video lessons. I'll post answer keys to all the problems we do. If a student is here or isn't here, they should be using Schoology, all right? And everything we do will be posted on there. Everything that they need will be available on Schoology. The very top folder in my Schoology class is a list of resources. It's got expectations for the class and things about grading. It's got the resources they can use outside of class, like Khan Academy and Slater and some other things. So you can use it as well if you're curious about something going on with the class, and some of the stuff I've talked about here in terms of how the flipped classroom works and what's expected of students. That's all on Schoology. I want to have every resource available to those students so they can do as well as possible. And what I really want to build out of them more than anything is problem solving. Okay, if I can build them up to be a good problem solver, then we're going to have accomplished a lot. I know I can teach them the math. Being a good problem solver is difficult. I use the analogy with them. You give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. You teach a man to fish and now you feed him for his lifetime. So I don't want to just give these students a fish. I don't want to do the problem for them because then they still don't know how to do it. I want to build them up to be problem solvers because I know that they're going to have to do problem solving for the rest of their lives. Whether or not it's in math, thinking through problems, having logical reasoning skills, and being a good problem solver is something that's going to benefit them for their entire lives. As I'm sure you know, you deal with solving problems every day, small and big. I want them to be good problem solvers, even as much as I want them to learn geometry, and even as much as I want to say have a great year and me to get to know them, because I do care about them. I love teaching. I'm glad that I'm able to be in the classroom with them, and hopefully we can keep that going and make this a fabulous year. If you ever need anything or have questions, email address, email me. Talk to your students first. If there's a problem, often they're going to know what's going on, and you can get an answer from them. And if there's something they need to address with me, I would love to hear from the students directly. And if something's not going well and you feel the need that you have to get involved, please email me, and we'll work through it and make sure things are going great as well as possible and have a fantastic year. So it's good getting to meet you a little bit. Hopefully this helped you understand what's going to go on in my classroom this year. And if you do have anything or need anything, please reach out and let me know. All right. God bless, and live Jesus in our hearts forever.